Good afternoon, everybody. I'm thinking it's looking a little bit dark here. I'm going to have to turn my other lights on. Oh, there you go. That's a bit better, maybe. There we go. Let's see. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to today's live. Now, what are we all about today? We are answering your questions, reposting on social media. And these are questions that have come to me from various group members. When I ran my, I did a training a couple of weeks ago, one of the lives, and it was some questions that came from that I meant to answer then, and I never got the chance to. And I looked through them, and they were all about this kind of subject, posting on social media and the best ways and what to do and what not to do and that kind of thing. So I thought I would do today's live all about that. So if you've got any, first of all, if you're watching live, put me a hashtag live. If you are watching this on replay, put in a hashtag replay in the comments, and that way I can see, that I've kind of touched somebody with this message, which is always nice to do. So hello, I have a viewer. Good to see you. Yeah, if you haven't already, just let StreamYard know who you are, and I will crack on into the questions. So, first question: what should I put in stories versus a post? Well, it's kind of with all of these, I always say it's like a piece of string. How long is a piece of string? Stories, I think, are good for sort of quick memes, little pictures, inspirational things, photos that you want to share, that are just nice, quick little things to scroll through. They can be really effective if, for example, you are in network marketing and you've got some promotion that you want to put out, but you don't want to clutter up your wall with these things. Okay, so that's kind of what you would go for with stories. Posts really are the kind of thing, they're a bit more substantial, a bit more meaningful. So if you've got like a long post you want to write, you see a lot these days about people putting an aspect of the story. And when I say an aspect of the story, when you're telling your story, you have to bear in mind that there's more than one story to everybody's like lives. So yeah, when you're sort of telling a story to say so, for example, I put up on mine. Hi Patrina, how are you doing? Good to see you. I put on my wall the other day, or yesterday, that I'm reading this Success Principles Jack Canfield book. Now, the quote I put up didn't go down too well with a lot of people. It did go down well with a lot of people. There was some people on my tribe, and this is all attraction marketing. Ultimately, you want to attract people who speak your language and who resonate with your message. Some people won't, and that's fine. They're not the kind of people necessarily that you'd want to be working with, not for any reason other than they're just not vibing with you. So that's absolutely fine. So it's all about attracting your tribe, and in attracting your tribe, you're also repelling your not tribe. So yeah, that's all good. And this is where it's important to remember that you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. But back to the question in point, stories versus posts. So I always think if you've got a lot of little pictures that you want to put out there, put them in a story. If you want to keep that story forever, because they do go after 24 hours, don't forget, then just star it, and then you can save it into a collection on your wall anyway, so people can always come back and see those pictures. The same with Facebook or Instagram. So I would say, like, snappy little things that you want to put in their stories. You don't want to clutter your wall necessarily with like 10 to 15 memes a day, but you can put 10 to 15 memes a day in a story. Posts a bit more meaningful things, a bit more sort of, you wouldn't put a long form story into a story, despite the name. That would be more of a post thing. Well, actually, some of them I think really should be in a blog, and then kind of a snippet put in. That answers one of later's questions, so I'll get to that later. But yeah, so that's basically the difference, stories v posts. There's maybe a slight more thing to that, but with all of these things, success leaves clues. So if you know somebody who's in your field who's doing a really good job of their social media, look and see what they're doing, to sort of get more of a clue on that. Okay, so next question, which I think was from the same lady. Should you post every day, or is posting stories just as good? So this, I think, is probably covered within the whole stories v posts thing. Posts, yeah, you can post every day. You can post a few times a day. I just wouldn't like post constantly. I do see some people have posted a lot of things a lot. Now, bearing in mind, when you post something onto your wall, unless somebody specifically comes to your profile to have a look and check out what you're up to, they're not necessarily going to see everything if you over egg the posting. Some people do that, but I mean, let's be honest. I've got a couple of thousand friends, and I'm not going to go and check their wall every day. But Facebook's algorithm means that if there's stuff that I interact with quite a lot, it's going to put it in my timeline, and I'm going to see that more. I'm more likely to see something in a story because I do spend some time looking through stories because I find them quite interesting, and they're a good way to interact. And from a business perspective, if you do find something interesting that somebody's posted, you get straight into their inbox by putting a like or a love on that post, and you can comment on it. Now, that doesn't go on as like, want to post when you comment on something. Yeah, they get a notification about it, but they might miss that notification. I get a lot of notifications sometimes, and I do have a tendency to miss one or two, but I don't miss anything that comes into my inbox. So that's a really good way of actually getting straight into someone's inbox, is to respond to their stories. And it's a really good way to attract people to your inbox by posting stories that people want to engage with. So asking questions, innocent questions, just sort of engagement questions, you might say. That's a really good way to just interact more instantly with people, because people do forget about stuff. So posts might be over quickly, or stories are over quickly, in the grand scheme of things. I've got a chart somewhere about how long a Facebook post lasts. Well, I know a story lasts 24 hours. But as more people post stories in your friends list, the newer stories are the ones that appear at the top of your stories list. Yeah. Hope this is making sense. Tell me if it is. Tell me if it isn't. Let me know, because I do have a tendency to go off topic and ramble. So apologies for that. But hopefully I've kind of illustrated that point that, yeah, the stories are over quicker. They leave your sphere quicker. You can mark them more permanent with the star, but ultimately they are much more direct, and they engage directly with people into their inbox, which is absolute gold dust. Just checking if there's been any. Nope, nobody has any questions on that. Probably haven't had a chance because I do machine gun delivery at times. Next question is, on which days and how often is it best to post on social media? Now, this is probably not what anybody else has told you. A lot of people have said, in a business sense, that there are times and dates that it is better to post something. You'll get more engagement if you post on certain times and days. And where that may be true, if everybody posted at those times and days, there would be nothing else on Facebook at the rest of the time. So the best time to post on social media is right now, when you're thinking of it. Or if you're organized and you're if you've got a group or a page and you're planning, scheduling rather, posts to go out, it can be helpful to have something at the same time and day. So I've got my lives. I always try to do at 2:30 CET. on a Monday. Doesn't always happen. I actually had a discovery call with a lovely, lovely lady, which I'll tell you about later, which meant I ran over slightly and I was 5 minutes late for this. Can't be more than 10 minutes late on StreamYard or they won't let you broadcast. So it is basically, I think personally, I don't like people that post, say, if you've got a group 5 times a day. Some people say, get in the algorithm, post 5 times a day. To me, that is going to make me unfollow a group because they're just putting too much crap in front of me. It's better, I think, quality over quantity, more thoughtfulness, less just scattergun approach. If you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks, there's probably going to be a pile up of spaghetti and nothing's really going to stick. And after too much time, the sauce is going to make the wall slimy. So, yeah, just think more about quality over quantity. Mix it up. Don't be all. I mean, certainly as people are networking more through their personal Facebook profiles, which it's not the same as how it used to be when people had to say a tires company and they create a personal profile to promote their business. It's not the same as that. It's where you have say an entrepreneur or a coach saying this is what I do, and they talk about it on their wall. But if all they did was talk about their business, you would soon unfriend them and unfollow them, right? So you need to show you. And that is scary for people. And that is probably scarier than talking about your business. People actually want to know who you are. They want to know about you. Obviously, you don't need to give them every cough and spit. Don't go too personal, but give them a glimpse into your life. I post an awful lot about my dogs, which is great for me because I really get on with dog people. I really relate to them, resonate with them. I post a lot about positivity, nothing to do with my actual business, just positive mindset, positive thinking stuff. Not everybody likes that. That's fine. They're maybe not the people I want to be working with. The people that do resonate with that, they're the people I want to be working with. So that's on the know, like, and trust thing. So, yeah, don't be a spammer. That's the thing. Don't be too much with the posting. Post once a day is absolutely plenty. If you've got more than that to say, schedule your posts, honestly. And there are various pieces of software. If you just do a quick Google, do scheduling software for Facebook, that if you want to schedule posts on your personal profile, you'll be able to do that. Personally, I would keep scheduling posts about sort of that kind of thing for within your group or your business page. You're probably going to get more interaction with a group than a page because pages are really there if you're going to do Facebook ads. Now, I've got my page because I want to keep that option open for the future. And I put stuff on there, not that it gets particularly much engagement right now, but when I do come to use it for ads or anything like that, I don't want people looking at a blank page. I want some stuff on there for people to interact with. So that's why this is going onto my page. I don't think anybody is looking at it onto my page from my page right now. I'm guessing that the viewers that I have here are probably in my group. It's possible they could be on my YouTube channel, but I doubt it because I've really got very few subscribers. But again, that's just something I'm building for now. So, and that's all like long game stuff. I want my YouTube channel to be a lot more successful and a lot more of a following. So I'm putting stuff on there now, knowing nobody's going to see it yet. But one day when I put more effort into my stuff, then people might come back and look at this and glean something from it. And it's always about adding value. When you post stuff, try and just make it have value for people, not just, oh, buy my shit, give people advice, tips, tricks, things like that. That goes down far better and gets people to know, like, and trust you much more than just peddling what it is you're selling at the moment. Okay, hopefully that all makes sense as well. So I'm finding myself answering my own future questions as it is. And so this one is, what proportion of fun versus serious business posts should you have? So by fun, I'm assuming that the questioner means personal. And as a general rule, you probably want a minimum of 5 to 1. 5 normal personal things and 1 business post, okay? Because if people are just seeing you posting about your business all the time, again, it's off-putting. And just as an aside here, when you're interacting with people, I mean, the whole point of posting on social media is to get people to interact with you, okay? And the ultimate interaction is getting into people's inboxes and getting conversations in there. And again, not just about posting spam about your latest thing. For me, there is nothing more off-putting than people going, "Hi, how are you? Here's my page. Can you join my group? And here's what I'm offering you." Like, no, don't do that. I don't know who you are. And until I know who you are, you can say what you like. I'm not going to interact with it until I actually have some reason to. So, yeah, talk to people because people buy from people. You probably heard that a million times, and it is so true. You may have heard it a million times, and yet you may still be posting promo stuff to people you don't know who don't know who you are. So don't do it. Okay. So yeah, keep it like at most 1 business post for every 5 personal posts that you do. It kind of, so there's no hard and fast rule on that. In a group, the majority of stuff that I do is the lives here in my group and on my business page. On my personal page, I rarely actually post about business. I do sometimes, but mostly it's about my dogs and it's about like mindset stuff. And that's a tiny part of what I offer in my coaching. My coaching is primarily about content creation and strategy, but there's a mindset element to it because sometimes you need a bit of mindset trickery to get people to get out of their own way. I mean, I needed that to get out of my own way. There was a time when I never did a live and I would never have done a live and would have been mortified at the thought of doing a live. And now I'm quite happy to just come on camera and chat away and offer my advice and knowledge. Like I say, just before this, I was doing a discovery call with somebody and I literally went, bye, and click live on here, and off I went, thinking, well, it's okay because I've planned it out. I've got all my questions in in StreamYard's interface, and happy days. I'm gonna be fine. I'll be able to talk about this. So yeah, hopefully that's answered that question. Sort of about a 5 to 1 at most, as in at least 5 personal to every 1 business, if that makes sense. Yeah. Do not do too much business. Okay. You can do some clever things and do something that's obliquely business, but for Christ's sake, don't like go over promoting stuff. Do your invitations in the inbox when you've got to know people. That's the kind of thing. And I think I need to go deeper into this kind of whole push pull thing. Okay, no, I'll do a little bit about that now because we've only been going for about 18 minutes. But try not to go an hour and a half again this time. So push pull. Think of it as, okay, I know somebody, a business coach I know, who describes this as courting, old-fashioned word for dating or whatever. Now, these days, everyone has Tinder and they just go, fancy you, blah, 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 let's go. And you have to be a little bit more kind of subtle about that these days with business. Your push is like posting stuff, okay? And what you post is what makes people attractive to you, attracts people to you. We're talking attraction marketing here. If people resonate with your post and they interact, then it means they're on the same page and you've got a bit of a connection with that. These are the people that you want to talk to, okay? The pull is talking to them. It's like, okay, thanks for the love on that post. What was it you liked so much about it? Something like that. That's maybe a very generic way of saying. But if there was something specific that you wanted to point out about their answer, oh, I noticed you particularly liked this particular thing I spoke about. Do you know what I mean? Getting conversation going, a natural conversation, not just going, boom, do you want my thing? Talk to them. But ultimately you want to be engaging more with them, and then they go, I need a XYZ. I know Patrina, she does that. I want to give Patrina a call and see how she can help me. Okay, that's the ultimate thing. This is all about organic social media marketing rather than the adverts. That's a whole different thing, which will be for another subject. Okay, so hopefully that's explained that one. Right, so next question is quite a long one. Interestingly, what is the optimal length of a post in social media to manage to deliver your message yet not scare the readers away by a wall of text? Now, okay, this is going to spark a rant. I have seen an awful lot of people these days write, so yeah, tell your story, guys. Absolutely tell your story, but try and be kind of succinct about it. I've seen this phenomenon of people telling the story, and it starts really quite interesting, and then they start laboring a point. And then I'm like, how long is this going to be? And if I have to do this on my phone more than 3 times before I get to the end of that post, I'm like, I ain't got time to read all of that. If you've got that much to say, write a blog post about it, okay? And get the SEO juice, because that post, you put all that effort in and it's going to be forgotten about on your Facebook wall within a few days. It's going to be out of people's algorithms, and it's going to be pushed down with other stuff that you're posting, and people are not going to see it particularly for a very long, they're going to see it for a couple of days max. If you put a blog post and there's something meaningful that you're trying to say, and you can attach an SEO term to it, that is going to be seen for as long as that website's there, for years. And if you've done it right, it'll get shown in Google searches, and you'll gain authority, not just with Google, but with people who are looking for the answer that you're providing, looking to answer their questions. Yeah. So, yeah, just think about it. If you, yeah, it does bug me. It does bug me when people just write endless reams of text just to say their story, which is great, but it could be done in probably about half the length of time that they're doing it. And if you can't say it within that half a length of time, get a writing coach, get somebody to teach you how to tell a story in a meaningful way. Or, there's lots of information online about how to tell stories in a meaningful way without boring people to death. There's not necessarily such a thing as a post that's too long, but it's about keeping their attention. If you're keeping the attention, that's fine. But when you start seeing people and keep paragraphs short because it breaks the text up, but when you see somebody put like 4 words and then another 4 words as the next paragraph, this is starting to put me off, and it's getting formulaic and it's not original anymore. I think somebody did it and then somebody else said, oh, that's really good, I'm going to do that. And then loads of other people saw it and went, oh, I really love that, I'm going to do that. And now everyone does it. And it's actually becoming another sea of like noise, So yeah, absolutely, Patrina. More than a few paragraphs and you're moving on. I do like it when I see people's story and it's maybe 4 or 5 paragraphs of a meaningful length, and you've got a few lines in a paragraph. You don't have to say like 3 words and then move to the next paragraph to emphasize those words. If you're telling the story well, it tells itself, But absolutely, as Patrina said, you get bored. And I've got quite a good attention span in today's terms, and I get bored when if I have to scroll like that, and I'm like, nah, next thing, what's going next? I'm not hanging around for this. I mean, we're all busy people, so just remember, be respectful of people's time. Don't have them sitting there reading your Facebook post for 20 minutes. The other reason why it's a really bad idea to put long stuff like that on Facebook is that Facebook is like not your real estate. If you want people to pay attention to you for more than a few minutes, then it needs to be on your own website, because that's a captive audience. So by all means, write that in a blog post. put a meaningful snippet of that in as your Facebook post and then link through. Don't little thing on the algorithm here. Facebook doesn't like you linking out of Facebook, okay, because it's lost its captive audience. And Facebook wants you to see the adverts it's putting in front of you, and it wants you to interact with other things. It wants you to see the next shiny, bright thing. So what if you're putting something long, as people are reading, they're going to see an advert, or they're going to see something else that's shiny that's taken their attention, or they'll get a notification and they go, oh, ping, I'll see what that is because I'm bored with this post. But if you've enticed them onto your website, and that in itself is the skill, then you've got a captive audience. Okay, so you can write 15,000 words if it's engaging 15,000 words, but don't put great long things like that on Facebook. So what is the optimal length of a post? Again, it is how long is a piece of string, but just be mindful not to bore people. And you may think, oh, yeah, but then your imposter syndrome will kick in and say, well, people are bored with my stuff anyway. Not the case. People are absolutely happy to engage with your story as long as you keep it to the point. Don't go on about it. Oh, and within these posts, you see when they're making bullet points and they've got like a picture to make the bullet point, and they're okay, right, that's fine. And then you carry on reading a bit, and then there's another list of bullet points. All right, another one. Okay, well, it's one of those posts that is now getting lost in the sea of faux marketing posts that are actually quite, I put a story post up on my personal wall about the Jack Canfield book, and I it was quite long. It's about as long as I would want to get away with in telling my story. But don't forget that your story has so many facets and elements to it. Yeah. So tell a bit of that story. And then there's another bit of your story that is about that. Everybody has at least 20 stories about their life in there, about different aspects of your life. Because I don't know about you, what I like to do at New Year is, and around this time, is like see how far I've come in the last 10 years. And what I've done this year, because I'm now 44, is so where was I 10 years ago, and 10 years before that, and 10 years before that, and 10 years before that? And I'm telling you, my life has changed completely between each of those 10 years. Born and brought up in a council house in Kingswood. When I was 14, I was like teenager, obviously secondary school. I did not have any idea at that stage that I would end up where I am today, doing what I am today. When I was 24, I was just moving to Shropshire at that point and getting married. So that was that. So that was a big leap on in my chapter, and that has its own story about starting again. And there's a load of mindset stuff, even though I wasn't into mindset and law of attraction at that point. There was a whole thing of, right, okay, well, we've moved all this way, now I've got to make this work. And that was my attitude, like, okay, let's do this. At 34, so what would that be? Yep. Okay. That was when I was in the middle of having a breakdown and just about to go into starting my business. So that has its own story. And now 44, I'm getting things going effectively in France. We've been here 4 years, but you would be surprised how quickly that 4 years has gone. So each of those holds a story, and there's all the 10 years in between those as well that have lessons for people. So bearing all that in mind, keep each bit to one facet of your story. Don't over egg the pudding in one post, okay? Keep your powder dry a bit. If you've got lots to say, write more posts and schedule them in, and then you've got more content, which is, consistency is the thing, putting more stuff out there in one go. It's like shooting your bolt, isn't it? You've got to kind of give them a little taste, and give them a little more taste, and a little bit more, a little bit more. Okay, so keep your powder dry a bit with that, and keep people's interest. By all means, write long stuff. Keep that on your blog post. Okay, hopefully that's answered that quite well. Any questions on any of that? Because that was the last question. So yeah, this is where we are. This was what we were doing, answering your questions, read social media. So if nobody's got anything else to ask, then I will call that a day. If you're watching this obviously on replay, then do put a hashtag replay. If you've got any questions that have arisen as a result of watching all this, by all means pop a comment in the comments, and I will come back and answer anything that appears in there. So yeah, that's me. I've got another couple of hello Phil. We've got a guest appearance from Phil the cat. Hello Phil. And Frippy's come to see how he's doing. Phil, this enormous tiger of a cat, is the little boy that we found in our hedge last August. I say last August, no, August before last. And he's trying to move my microphone. August before last, he was 5 weeks old. I had to bottle feed him and wean him onto solids. And now he's curled up, and it won't surprise me if he starts putting my jumper, because I'm the only mother he's ever known. So, and he's a little precious. He's so big. He's like a good 2-3 times the size of our other cat, Ollie. And I thought he was a big cat. I'm sure there's some kind of European lynx in him or something. Or maybe his dad was the Maine Coon that lives over opposite. I don't know. But he's a little babe. Anyway, on that note, yes, I will let you all go. I've got a couple more discovery calls to do this afternoon. So if you want a discovery call for yourself, if there's any questions that you want to ask me in person, or if there's any help you need with your content journey, with your business content and promotion and all of that, by all means, you are welcome to, and I'll pop this in the comments afterwards, book a discovery call with me. I give you a free half an hour of my time just to sort of have a chat through, see if there's something that I can do to help you. If you wanted to go forth and dig deeper and get some real meaningful helpful tips and things, then just for January, I'm doing a special deal on, I hate that word deal, I hate offer as well. Giving you 30 quid off a deep dive discovery session. It's not a discovery session, deep dive session. And what that is, you get 2 hours with me, really digging deep. I'll have a good look in the ins and outs of whether you're on website or social media, have an overview of where you're marketing yourself, and maybe see where we can plug some gaps, see if you're not in some places where you should be, that kind of thing. Give you a complete overall review, or you could get some specific help on something that's particularly bugging you, whether that be like going live and streaming into various places on social media, or for example, one lady I've helped in the recent weeks wanted help on newsletters, and that was more of a technical side of things, but also brought in how to structure them, structuring the content of them, and also a little bit of mindset stuff, which always creeps into my work, however much you don't want it to. But I do love helping people get past things, with my voodoo shit. So yeah, so basically the price on that deep dive session is 199 euros normally, but it's 169 euros with special code. So just let me know if you want that. So as well as the 2 hours, you get a half an hour follow-up 2 weeks later, and I will give you a recording of the sessions as well, so you can revisit the information we've touched upon at your leisure. So it's really, really good value. You get a lot of my time for not an awful lot of money. Okay, that is me done. If nobody has any other questions at this stage, then I'll see you all next time. Next week we'll be talking about something else, but the week after I've got a special treat for you, because I've got the lovely Kim Weimer, who is I'll let her tell you what she is, but she's a very positive, awesome lady. And we're going to be talking about law of attraction and attraction marketing at that point. So that's not to be missed. So that's in 2 weeks. Next week, we'll be talking about, don't know what yet. If you want to come and talk to me on one of these lives about your business and how that could add value to the group, then by all means, drop me a chat and we will talk turkey. Take care. I'll see you all soon. Much love. Have a great week.